G'day everyone. Now that the league has been out for approximately a month, some of the price disparities between the cost of running things and the profit potential of all the items are at an all-time high basically. So now is a good time that people can go to the auction house, and if you're wondering, I'd like to do some Keegan fights, but I'm not sure if there's any profit in it. Now, a quick way that you can do it is just go to your edicts and go, okay, they're 2.5 flame elementum each for this one. This one, they're 3 each, and this one, they are 2.5 each. So a total, that is 8 flame elementum. Now, if you're unaware, the Keegan fight drops a familiar nexus quite a lot, and if you're doing standard Keegan, it is a 50% drop rate. If you are doing Uber Keegan, which includes the Doom, then it is a 100% drop rate. So thinking on that, depending on how geared you are, it was 8 flame elementium for the other 3, plus this one brings it to 19 flame elementium for the set. I have gone through and bought a couple because I'm probably just going to sit here all day, chill and kill Keegan. So I'll collect all these and then I'll explain more. Alrighty, so if you have one in your inventory, you can check the price of all of them. This one I bought for 11. Doing a quick price check, you can see that they are 11 each. So 19 per run. And the item that you get from it is an item collection. You go down to corrosion material and familiar nexus. Now one just sold for 47 flame elementium. So now we have to work out the tax. When selling an item, you pay 1/8 of that item in tax. So 5.8 minus 47. So that is 41.125 flame elementium. Minus the cost of the keys. So it was 11 plus 8 for the other 3. So 19. So if you were running Uber Keegan, you would make a minimum of 22 flame elementium per fight profit, and that is a minimum. Now if you're running the other ones, which is a it's actually crazy how cheap the dooms are, because it was 8 flame elementium for the others, and with a 50% chance to drop the familiar nexus, that brings it to a an averaged cost of 16 flame elementium, which just means that you're going to make 3 flame elementium more profit on the averaged basis. However, it's going to take you 2 fights instead of 1 to get the familiar nexus. So I will be doing a mixture of standard Keegan and Uber Keegan. Obviously, depending on the amount of tank that you have, as well as the amount of damage that you do, will influence the speed at which you can do Keegan. Now to do Keegan, you just go to the Nexus, go to Great Void, and this is where all of the season bosses are, ranging from Dark Surge to Black Sail, Lawbreaker, Eterna, and now the Eternal Sun. So these are all the seasons that have been in Torchlight Infinite so far, all 5 seasons. And this is where you'll always find the season bosses. So you just install all 3. If we go to observe, you see all the possible drops. You can go to each one and do a trade search, and it will show you roughly what they are worth. Just find the unidentified one, and that will show you probably if it's worth picking up or not. The majority of these every season are not really worth picking up. Winter is near. Some seasons is very popular for, I believe it is the int stackers. So if you get a winter is near and you corrode it and it changes the 33% intelligence into a tier 0, that will be worth 100 FE or so, or 300 FE. There you go. So it's all about hitting that one node for this strength stackers. Otherwise, it's it's not really worth that much. Unidentified, there is none. Finding an uncorroded one is about 20 flame elementium. So that's just a gamble that someone's going to do. Get the chest, corrode it, and try and hit that one node. Fleeting Sky is not really ever worth anything. Everlasting Cloud, I believe, is another. Yep, that's the deck stackers. And again, it's a gamba to try and get the one that you want. 80. There's some unidentified ones for 3. So it's not. If you're going to do a lot of these, it's probably not worth picking these up unless you are going to corrode them and try and get that really good item. Touch of the Dark Surge drops every single time, 100% guaranteed, but the rolls that it can have are very, very random. So random bless affix, that is tenacity blessing, agility blessing, and focus blessing. It can be I believe it ranges from -2 to +2, depending on the corrode. Random crit strike can be negative to positive, random damage can be negative to positive, and random speed can be negative to positive. So, it doesn't show, but that's fine. Tide of the Sticks is generally a really, really sought after item. As you can see, an unidentified, uncorroded, is about 200 flame elementium early on in the season, or 200 for an unID'd one, which is a really good drop. Early on in the season, they'll be going for a few thousand. And then you've got all the necklaces, which also fetch a pretty decent price. The rings are actually pretty decent as well this season. Some seasons they are not so good. So select few up the top are good, depending on if you want to do the gamble. The Flaming Evil is generally quite decent. 5, yeah. It depends if someone wants to ID a bunch and corrode them. So that is a breakdown of the loot in Standard Keegan. Now, if you want to have a look at the loot in Uber Keegan, is a lot harder. Supreme Throne. I thought that was Jumble Ice. Supreme Throne is 15 unidentified, so not that amazing. Void Embarkment is a new one. It's also not amazing. The rest is standard. Double Rainbow. This was super expensive early on. It's down to 45. Still somewhat okay. Definitely worth picking up. Cicada Shell is definitely worth picking up. Going down, and the rest are all the same. And just know that if you do Uber Keegan, you will 100% chance to get the Familiar Nexus. So you're making 20 Flame Elementium per fight profit. Now I'm going to do an Uber Keegan, noting that in the Void, I have my Flame Elementium mapping set right here. This actually does literally nothing for drops in the Void. So you may as well just go with your tank or your damage setup for best survivability. So I'm pretty sure I started this. It is now 9.5 minutes. Let's do a fight. Hopefully I can do it without dying too much. He does do a lot of damage and he has a number of phases. These phases are all also reflected in standard. It is highly recommended that you have a blink, so you can blink over top of the damages. Like if I had a blink there, I could have just blinked out of that kill zone, and avoided all of that damage. However, I don't have a blink on this character, so I have to try and look out and avoid that damage the best I can. Now, this is standard. He goes up there. A shield comes around here, just like in the campaign. That first one is instant kill. The second one actually does no damage. So you don't have to stay in there. This mechanic is also in the standard fight. He'll go back there, do another shield. You just stand. It's more beneficial if you stand on this top left part of the M, because if that square one comes out at that point, it will go over the center of the M and likely kill you. Now, this part here, he has gone on that side, so you have to go to the opposite. If you go to either of these two side ones, you will die during that phase. And then if you die from that point on, you will have to repeat that phase every single time until you get past it and kill him from that point. Now, Fleeting Sky wasn't too fantastic. A final tip for this fight is drop your own portal. Now, if you take... Oh, what's going on here? If you take the default portal, it will put you at the waypoint for the hideout, which is on the other side of the map. However, if you take your own portal, it will put you out at the base of the Nexus, and then you can just run up and do it again. So now I will be doing 100 Keegan fights, and I will show you a breakdown of the costs and the profits to be gained from doing roughly 100, and yeah, we'll see how much profit we can make off our investment. Alrighty, for a bit of reference, let's just see how long it takes to do one. I do about 250 to 300 billion DPS. There are builds that do a lot more damage than me, obviously. There's builds that do a lot less damage than me. This is not really a bossing build. It's more of a speed farming build. It's a pretty reasonable build, I would say. Thought I was standing in the fire then. If you are immune to dot damage, so if you have full defense in the God of War tree, all this fire on the ground will do 0 damage to you, which is quite interesting. As well as this fire that goes across, that is dot damage as well, so that will do absolutely nothing to you. These are going to kill me, aren't they? Oof, pretty close. He's over there. Do the diagonal. And that's the end of the fight. So around about minute 30 or 2 minutes per fight. Burning ice, interesting. And make sure you drop your portal. You can change the key binding for your portal if you like. I have Dark Surge as T, so I have Town Portal as Y. Alright, I'll see you at the results. Cheers. Actually, one last thing before the results. I'll show you a quick non-Uber Keegan. As you'll see that with enough damage in this game, you can do any boss you like quite easily. So he is phased. Now he'll do his stand over there and do his big blaster. If you can get him down to, I think that's like 5%. Instantly, he'll do this, he'll do his little fire thing, and then he's dead. So you just run over here, you do his fire, and then he's dead. So it's a lot faster and a lot easier on standard. However, he doesn't always drop a familiar nexus. I got quite lucky there, so it's not going to impact my results at all. But yeah, see you in a minute. It's kind of interesting. The more you do something, the quicker and more efficient that you can do it. And the extra little things that you pick up on how you can do things better. I've noticed a couple of opportunities in this fight to improve. The first being this stage here. If you have minions, you can just stand in the corner and often they'll block that shot. So it won't damage you. That was a bad time for a phone call. In that stage, you can... in that point there, you can actually run up to his face and keep damaging him. And then also with this second wave, it does no damage, so you can get up in his face and damage him again. If you're fast enough at that point to get him to the immune phase, he'll actually just do the spray twice. That phone call really put me off. And then you are into the last two phases, which are this spray, the cross section, and then the diagonal. I've had a fair bit of success just waiting for that part. This is where I put down my town portal so I can loot and leave. I got a Supreme Throne from the last one, which is quite interesting. I don't know why he wasn't taking damage then. What is going on? I got another Supreme Throne, so that's two Supreme Thrones in a row. I am looting the rest of the items just so I can see what percentage they drop. Alrighty, quick shout out to the guys that are entertaining me in chat. Eros, Delta Magi, Eros and Delta chatted a bit. Durago, Delta again, Shun, interesting double corrupt he got on his Fiend Crown. Frosty back from season 1. Welcome back, brother. More Frosty, and then we're going down to Gorg Train, I guess. I don't know what that's meant to say. Sorry. And AFK Yuga. Anywho, back to the actual video. Results will be very soon. Alrighty, everyone. This will be the final run of this video. I was going to do 100, however, I am getting way too distracted by other things. So I will keep this one at 50. I have noticed a bug that I am reporting, which is previously when you were running multiple void bosses, if you tried to put in a second set of keys, it would not allow it, and it would come up with an error saying that you have already started the boss fight, or you have an unfinished boss, something to that effect, and it wouldn't just let you delete keys. Now, unfortunately, that warning is not appearing at all. So being distracted by other things, I have deleted multiple sets of keys, which is just deleting 19 flame elementium a pop, which is disappointing. But anyway, I'll go through the results in just a minute. And you can see, even with the mistakes of deleting extra sets of keys, we will have made a profit, because the cost of the keys, etc., are so insane at the moment that it's hard not to make a profit. So, of the additional drops that we got, alrighty everyone, I have put in just everything that dropped in the 50 tests. There is a 100% chance that the Familiar Nexus will drop, which is the vast majority of the profit. The Dark Surge gloves, I just put in 2 each. You can sell them unidentified for 2, or you can identify them all, and the chances of you getting 1 pair out of 50 that is worth 100 flame elementium is quite good. All you really need is positive blessings with 3 similar positive types. So if it's spell crit chance and attack damage, probably not great. But if it's spell crit chance or spell crit damage and spell damage and plus additional damage to main skills or something like that, that is probably worth 100 flame elementium. So all of these prices here are all unidentified. And as you can see, like these ones, I wouldn't bother unless I had the unless I had the corrosion materials to try and corrode it, if I had the time to do that. Otherwise, I would just salvage those, which is not a big deal, considering the bulk of your profit will come from like the Burning Ice, the Supreme Throne, Eternal Undercurrent, and ultimately, if prices got this low and you didn't want to bother seeing those, you could filter them out in your filter, but it's all depending on your own preferences. So each run took around about 1.5 to 2 minutes, so about 100 minutes worth. So I guess you're making, what, 12 FE a minute, which isn't bad. It does take a little while for the Nexus and stuff to sell. I have sold 10 already. I sold a couple of gloves, but the sheer amount of gloves that I had, I didn't want to just have them all in there forever, so I figured I would identify them and see if we got anything decent. So let's just identify the ones that I have in my inventory. I'll transfer back the ones in here. Already, I have gone through and checked off the gloves. I forgot that this was in my inventory, and I actually got the +5 defensive skills, so that was actually a pretty decent ID. Going through the gloves, we have a plus. I'm going to get rid of the details. +1 tenacity blessing with positive spell crit strike rating, positive additional damage for main skills, and positive additional attack and cast speed. So that is a reasonable base. Looking at the cost of the additionals, it's about 25 flame elementium, or so. Or 35, so that one is quite decent. Going on, we have positive focus blessing stacks with attack crit strike, attack crit damage, which is quite nice. Anyone that is buying these is wanting to get +2 max, so you can either have these in your inventory for a long time, or in your trade booth rather, or you can have ones that are reasonably decent positives, and they are likely to sell much faster, because if they double corrupt this or corrupt it and they didn't get the +1s, they've still got some gloves that are kind of useful. This one is positive spell crit strike rating, additional damage, additional attack and cast speed. It is -1 tenacity. However, if they corrode that and get +2, that is a really nice pair of gloves. Again, here it's 0, but with positive. If they hit +2, it's really nice. That is what you're going for with these. A couple of good bonuses: bonus attack crit strike rating and damage. Negative, but if that hits +2, again, you're going to do pretty well. So overall, these 8 pairs are definitely worth more than 100 flame elementium. However, you don't have to identify them. You can just sell them to someone else who wants to identify them. Or if you have 200 flame elementium and you want to identify 100 pairs of these, fill your boots and buy them and identify them. So overall, if the keys are cheaper and you're guaranteed profit from the Nexus, then Keegan is a very good fight. As you can see from all of the extra drops, the total of this is not that much. Let's just quickly do this. The total of that was only 270 flame elementium if you were to sell all these extra things. However, It's realistically just that. You would sell maybe the Everlasting Flames. The Winter is Near because they're 5 each. Those. Burning Eye, Supreme Throne, and that's it. So 240. If this was breaking even and you spent 2 hours doing these runs for 240 Flame Elementium, I would say that is not a very good investment of your time. And there are other methods, as seen in some of my other videos, that can benefit you greatly compared to this. So always just look at what the cost is for running it, whether it be without Doom or with Doom. Without Doom, there's a 50% chance that the Nexus will drop. With Doom, it's a 100% chance. But Doom is sometimes extremely expensive. Like early on in the league, it's 60 FE for a Doom. So the cost is astronomical, and it's pretty much break even if you're getting the Familiar Nexuses at the start of the league. Anyway, that's all I have for this guide. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative and a good insight into doing Keegan in your adventures. Thanks very much.